Hey everyone, Rob, Chicago Real Estate Live. We've got Michelle Martin on the call today. She's going to be discussing her experience when we went live with her listing in Lincoln Park. Give me 1 second to get her on the phone, and thanks again for stopping by.
All right, thanks for joining today. We have Michelle Martin with At Properties. We're going to be talking to her a little bit about Chicago Real Estate Live and her experiences with recording her listing and as well as hopefully some potential future listings. Michelle, how are you today?
Hey, good. Thanks for having me, Rob.
Oh, no problem. Thank you very much for your time. So I just wanted to take a few minutes and kind of get your input on the experience. We recently featured one of your listings on Chicago Real Estate Live, and I just wanted to kind of get your input. What did you think about the experience?
You know, I tell you, this is the first time I had actually done a video, and I thought it was a great experience. I really liked the parts, although idea of walking into something live at first, I thought, okay, can I pull this off? But I really did enjoy being put on the spot because, you know, I thought it a great way to be able to convey to potential clients, potential buyers that, you know, a little bit of a different twist where they got to see me live.
Sure, and the cool thing is it's not only just for buyers or consumers. I mean, we would all, as real estate agents, we would love that to be the case, but it also gives exposure to agents who may potentially have buyers, and it kind of gives us as agents an opportunity to really vet the listing to see if we can save some time. We don't want to bring a buyer through something if it's something that doesn't fit the profile or the search profile that their buyers are looking for. So, I mean, you know, I think it's valuable. It sounds like you think it's valuable. I mean, do you think that this type of marketing is valuable for your listings and other agents' listings?
Oh, absolutely. You know, I think the idea of going video is a new thing, and I think there's some agents that have jumped onto it, and I like the idea of being in the forefront and being able to, you know, advertise a listing and put things out there to other brokers. And as you mentioned, I think that one of the key things you said was providing information so the broker with the potential buyer, you know, he or she can vet the listing and find out whether it's specific for what his client or her client is looking for. You know, having that information up front really makes all the difference, and this is a great way to convey that as opposed to, let's say, you know, handing a piece of paper over. It is something that I think when they hear it and they see it, they have the potential to remember it.
Yeah, and I think, you know, there's obviously a ton of tools out there currently with virtual tours and you know, a company called Matterport and companies that work with the virtual tour or virtual reality aspect of it. But nothing really beats when you have an agent, the listing agent there, that is explaining all the details. So it's almost as if the buyer is there or the agent is there, and especially recording it live, you know, you tell me, I mean, you know, people being able to jump in and ask questions in real time, you know, I think it's pretty cool.
Oh, no, absolutely. And kind of going on what you're saying, I had 2 listings this year where the buyers had never actually been in the property. They purchased via FaceTime. So, you know, as we see this trend more and more where people are, you know, moving, Chicago is a fairly transient city, as we know, so it gives those buyers the opportunity to have something that's right on the spot. And, you know, in the cases where they're not actually in the property, you know, and buying from a different country or a different state.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we just keep pressing value, and again, that's important. You know, let's get kind of down to the process, the last few minutes here. You know, can you explain how long the on-site tour took and, like, just the recording of it? How much time did you devote to doing something like this?
If I include parking the car in front, I think maybe 20 minutes, maybe 30 at the most.
Okay.
I mean, it was just, you know, the actual video, you know, it wasn't as though we had to retake it. You came in, I think it was a matter of maybe 3 to 5 minutes. And, you know, from a time aspect and what we put into marketing, I thought it was time very well spent.
Awesome. So after the video was done and it was promoted, you know, what did you think of the promotion and the exposure you received from the tour? You know, did you get any feedback from it?
You know, I got a lot of feedback from connections on Facebook and people saying, wow, that was great to, you know, doing something that we don't see very often. I was also really impressed by the number of people that you reach. And I just wasn't expecting to see those numbers come in as much as we did, going live and then after the fact. So for me, that showed me how much of a reach that this can have.
Yeah, and from a property exposure standpoint, obviously, we want to do as much as we can for the seller and the listing. But can you talk a little bit about agent branding? I mean, obviously, if the property sells, great, but did you get any feedback? You mentioned that people have reached out to you on Facebook. I mean, that obviously reinforces your brand as an expert.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I actually had one client of mine who will be putting his condo on the market in the spring, and he said, this is fantastic, and he brought up how he would like me to do it for his listing, and I said, absolutely, this is something I'm going to be doing for each listing going forward. So, having that direct contact from someone who's even more excited now about listing, knowing the potential reach can increase.
Awesome. Is this something, I mean, it sounds like I already know the answer to this, but would you recommend to your colleagues to use and utilize the tool Chicago Real Estate Live and contact us?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, the people that I talk to on a regular basis, I've already told. I do think it's something that, especially as we move forward with more exposure, people will start to see how easy this is and what an impact it can make.
Well, that's awesome. I guess let's close out. Hopefully there's nothing too negative, but if there was anything that you could suggest to help make Chicago Real Estate Live better, what would that be in order to make your job easier, benefit your exposure, your branding? Oh
boy, that's a tough one. I don't have anything to say that would be, that I can think of that would improve it. I think on my end, I could use it in other capacities and reaching, if I use other social media outlets. But as far as what you're doing and what you've accomplished with this, I really can't add anything. I think it was, from a time aspect, like I mentioned, it was done, it was quick, it was immediate, and we saw the results. And, having it be live and being able to walk through and be real in front of the camera. A lot of times we see videos with music. I think it really makes an impact having something face to face. So I think you're doing all the right things.
Awesome. Well, I do appreciate your time, Michelle. Looking definitely forward to highlighting some of your other listings. Michelle, how can agents or consumers that are listening to this reach out to you if they have questions about, maybe some of your upcoming listings or you as an agent in general?
Sure, yeah. Give me a call at 312-560-7491. The MichelleMartinGroup.com is also the website to reach us. My email is mmartin@atproperties.com. And I'm more than happy to even talk about my experience with Chicago Agent Live, because I really am such a proponent.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much, and we'll see you at the next listing.